Today I want to show you how to arrange a beat to make a beat less repetitive. And I've prepared a beat right here, which I actually made in another video. So yeah, take a listen. So this beat on itself sounds pretty good, but we still need to make an arrangement so this beat also works for artists, or it just works like as a whole beat. And my way to do this is first of all to copy the sequence, and you do that by going to edit and then sequence and go to copy sequence, and then you can name this for example part 2, press do it, and now you're actually on sequence 2, and here you can do like whatever you want. For example, you can go ahead and play in a different pattern for this sample. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete the pattern. So now we only have the bass and the drums. So the first thing we need to do is find a pattern for the second part of the beat. So for example, we could go something like something very simple, so let's go ahead and record that. And something we also could do is make some kind of intro, which we also can use as an outro. So let's go ahead and copy the same sequence again and call this intro. Press do it, and now we can go ahead and delete everything we have on here, and you can actually access all of your tracks or all of your program when you press main twice, so you can see everything you have. And then you can just go ahead and select everything and then delete it, because the thing I want to do is go to track 1 and then just play like the sample as it is as an intro. So I'm going to show you what I mean. As you can see, it kind of messed up right here, so we're just gonna drag these over so they fit. Now let's give it a listen again. So this sounds good. We have the beginning of the actual sample, but also since we chopped it, we still have like the vinyl or like the sample based hip hop kind of chopped vibe going on. So that's actually perfect, and we can make it from this, go drop into the beat. And we basically do that by going to mode, and then we select pad 10, which is like the song mode. And from here it's actually quite simple, because we can just press record, and now you can see on the screen that we have these 3 pads with sequence 1, part 2 and intro, which is the sequences that we created with all of the different parts for the beat. And when we press record, we can just select all of these pads in the order that we want to. So let's start with the intro. Let's make that 8 bars. You always have to remember how many bars your sequence is, so you kind of can get like a vibe of how many times you want to repeat the same sequence. So now I've selected the intro twice. Actually, I'm gonna go down and do this 1 time, so I can just drag it down. So we have the intro playing once, so we have 4 bars intro. And then I wanted to drop into the first sequence, which is right here. And this is gonna be the hook of the beat. So therefore I want this to repeat twice, so we get a hook of 8 bars. And now we want to go to the verse, which is part 2 in my case, because that's the way I want to arrange it. Like that's the different parts for the beat that I've planned out. So let's say I want the verse to be 16 bars. So I can just go ahead and press this 4 times. And now I can just repeat that again. So twice the hook, and then 4 times the verse. And let's make this a pretty long beat, so let's end with a hook again. And then lastly, I want to play the intro also as an outro, so we press that again. And now we have built a whole beat, like a whole arrangement out of 3 sequences that we created, which as you could see was very fast. And that's just like when you've started making 1 sequence, it's always a good idea to make a second sequence where you change up like the sample, or it could just be like a different hi-hat pattern. Like you don't have to make drastic changes, but it's always smart to have a second sequence with a little bit of variation, just to make your beat not as repetitive. So now that we have like arranged the beat, we can go to convert to sequence, press that, and now we can see that this is gonna go to sequence 4. So we hit do it, and now we can go back to main. Actually, let me press this twice, because then you can see that we still only have 4 bars with the intro. So we're still on the wrong sequence, so we have to change that, and you change that by holding down shift and then go to the track select, because then you get to the sequence select and you can go to sequence 4 and it says from song 1. And now, as we can see, when I zoom out on this page I'm on right now, we can see that we have arranged a whole beat. So let me show you when I press play. And it drops in. And after this, it's gonna drop into the verse. So that works pretty good, but this can still get repetitive over time. So therefore, we also have the ability to actually arrange this beat while we're playing the beat. And we do that by pressing shift and pressing the pad mute button, because then we get to the track mute. And then you just have to remember on what track you put like which instrument. In this case, here's the sample, here are the drums, and here's the bass. And now you can press record and then play, and then you can silence and turn on the different tracks after each other as you like it, and actually arrange the beat while you play it. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So we press record and play start. And now the intro's gonna run. I'm not gonna change anything with that. So that's all I'm going to do for now, because I don't want to go over the whole song, which is something you could do, but you could also go ahead and just make the hook and the verse, and then just make the sequence longer, and afterwards you can just copy paste the hook and the verse and then repeat that after each other, and then you don't have to use the Trackmutes over the whole song. So if you need a video on that, just write it down in the comments, but for now I'm not gonna explain it. So as you can see, now we have like all of these kind of red boxes. And these red boxes indicate where you have muted the track, and you can also go ahead and actually change these, so you can make like more mutes and drag them out, and like you can do all sorts of stuff afterwards. And you can also go ahead and delete some of them. For that you need to take the selecting tool, and then you can just delete them. So now I've deleted them in the middle, so I have a long one, but you can also delete the whole thing just like that, and it doesn't delete your MIDI information that you have played in. So you can go ahead and arrange that afterwards and like do your fine adjustments. And now everything you have to do is actually just export it, which you do by file and then press export, and then go to audio mixdown, and then you can do the settings that you want and export it. So this was just a quick little video on how to arrange beats. It's actually not that difficult in the MPC, because you can literally just record and then hit the pads where you have your sequences on. So I hope that this maybe helped you, and see you in the next video.